Welcome to our monthly interview with the expert. Our topic this month is holiday blues. This time of the year, the holiday time, supposed to be the merriest and jolliest time of the years. But for any of us who have lost a loved one in the past, whether it is recent or in the distant past, the holiday season can also be a very sad and loneliest time of the year, because many times this is the time of the year when we feel the absence of our loved one the most. And for that reason, this month I have for you Jocelyn, who is one of the only 7 grief recovery trainers in the United States. Jocelyn has been a trainer for the Grief Recovery Institute for 5 years, as well as she has been an advanced grief recovery method specialist for the last 10 years. And in addition to helping people recover from their grief, Jocelyn is also a known author, a blogger, and a foodie. Jocelyn, it is such an honor to have you with us today. What are some of the tips that you have for people who are grieving through this holiday season?
Thank you for having me, Brigitte. And that's obviously a great question, because this is something that comes up every single year, particularly for grievers, of how to get through this holiday season. So a couple of tips that I have for you if you're one of those people who is really struggling right now, or you just have a family member who you know is going through a hard time. The first thing I would just like to say is just to have an awareness that some memories are going to come unexpectedly. And the awareness is important, because when we don't acknowledge that this is what's happening, once something comes to our attention, maybe we hear a song, or there's a conversation and it sparks a memory of that loved one, and then we are, out in our own mind and just going through a lot of painful memories. When you're aware of the fact that it is going to come, I feel like it's not going to take away the pain, but I feel like it takes away that sting. So just know that something you see or hear or taste or touch or smell may bring up some memories for you, and just understand that in this process that you're in a grieving process, that it's normal. A lot of times we feel like when we're going through something painful, we feel like there's something wrong with us. So it's really important to understand that what you're going through, while not fun, is normal. It's a normal process for you, and there'll be plenty of opportunities of that during this holiday season. So awareness is one, and if you're the type of person who likes to journal, I would say write down some things and just be really aware of what the holiday season used to be for you. So if you have a lot of traditions, if there are a lot of things you're used to doing that now have changed, to write those down so you can kind of see what's coming, that here are some of the changes that are going to be happening for me, just so you know in advance. And I would say along with that, to start to create some new stories for yourself, some new stories in your mind. I think sometimes when we're feeling a lot of pain, it's really easy just to say, well, this holiday season is going to suck. And while it may be challenging, I think it's also really good to have a perspective. So instead of saying, this is going to suck, say, you know what, I know there's going to be some moments that are going to be really hard, but I'm going to try my best to work through this moment. Because I feel like when we go all negative, we kind of set ourselves up for like almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if we say it's all going to suck, then it all will suck. But if we can try to find a few moments of joy, maybe that's a good story. I can say, well, I'm going to try to find a couple of things that I really enjoy. I'm going to try to find some moments that I know will be fun or that will be peaceful, and really set that as kind of like your mantra, so you have something to look forward to. So I think that's 3. I'll give you just a couple more tips. I would say if you find yourself really overwhelmed with emotion, like you're just not in the space to find something joyful, go ahead and just take some breaks. So if you're around a lot of family and friends and you feel just like you need to be by yourself, take a few moments by yourself and breathe. And when you can rejoin the group, go ahead and do it, and do that as many times as you need to. Remember, this process is different. It's not everyday living. You are going through a process that is challenging. So take some breaks. And then I always suggest, find that person in your life that is a good listener, somebody who you can share what's going on with you. When we're grieving, one of the temptations is to isolate and to be by yourself and to kind of try to work through it all on your own, but that is not going to be helpful for you. What will be helpful is to know that you have someone that you can talk to, someone who's not going to try to fix you, but who will just be a great listener, who somebody, every time you talk to them, you feel heard and understood. So find that person. And then lastly, I would just say, just cut yourself some slack. Really engage in something that you would consider to be self-love. So if there's some activity that you like, a place you like going to the movies, you like reading or cooking, just invest in that. So invest in things that really warm your heart and help you feel a little better through the difficult time.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. What about, is there one tip, for instance, that if somebody that we know, our loved one, perhaps our colleagues or something grieving through the holiday seasons, what can we do for them? Do you have one tip for that?
Yeah, I would say, and it's kind of the other end of one of the tips I said, just be there for that person. Yeah. Don't try to tell them how to feel. Mm-hmm. Don't try to tell them to get over it, because that doesn't help them. So grievers need to be heard and understood. So if you can be available to be a listening ear, to give hugs if that person likes hugs, just to be a support. Sometimes we underestimate the value of our presence. So just being available for somebody, even if you're not doing anything, actually means the world to somebody who's grieving.
That is so wonderful. Yeah, I know, being a grief recovery specialist coach as well. We have this term called "be a heart with ears,"
yes,
which
right.
is what you say. Yep. Just be a listening ear with a lot of love and a lot of compassion for others, as well as you said, being kind to ourselves. Be kind to ourselves. Cut ourselves some slack. Yeah. And also, I think the first thing you said, to realize that this is normal, that this is something that it does not make us weak or anything if we're grieving and things coming back to us, even if this is something that's the event is not very recent. That is so wonderful, Jocelyn. I thank you so much for sharing with us all these wonderful and very heartfelt tips to help us if we are grieving, or we know somebody who are grieving during these holiday seasons, to be able to move through that gracefully and more effortlessly. Yeah. Like you said, it will be no fun, but we can make it less painful. And so thank you so much for that. And for everyone who's watching, I invite you to share gold nuggets that you learned from this interview, because that is how we continue to learn from each other. And I invite you to share your feedback as well in the comments below. If you have questions, feel welcome to post that in the comments, or feel welcome to connect with me or to connect with Jocelyn directly as well. And I thank you so very much for watching. And this is Birgit with From Grieving to Joyful Living. And I look forward to see you again next month at our interview with the expert. Thank you.